WTF.
Yes. Oh dear.
Yes.
My least favourite feature.
Exactly. But the most popular feature
for everybody
everyone
else,
judging by the bulging virtual mail sack.
Okay.
This is where we attempt to provide some relief for those of you who really want to remember a film but can't quite remember all the details.
Okie doke.
Send as much as you can on the email or the text or the WhatsApp. And we also upload the videos of these to our YouTube channel, so head over there later on if you think you can help. Last week, Sam Powney asked for help. 1960s or 70s cowboy buddy movie dubbed into Italian.
Yes.
Along the lines of the Bud Spencer and Terence Hill comedies that remain popular in Europe today. Standout scene involves one partner drinking alone at a fete while staring at a wanted poster of his fallen out with friend. As he becomes more tipsy, the grinning head in the poster starts winking, as they always do, and turns out to be the real-life desperado companion in the flesh. So our Chairborne Squadron have been on the case, couple of contenders. This says, Dear, my name is Trinity and my name is Nobody. MTL, Colonial Commoner, just a few months shy of my 65th birthday. That sounds like a scene out of the Terence Hill, Bud Spencer comedic spaghetti western, They Call Me Trinity. There you go. So that sounds as though that's...
Oh, is that what it is?
Without a doubt, last night's thing that you're talking about is The Sheriff and the Satellite Kid. This is Jason Crawford. I watched it as a kid many times. It had a sequel called Why Did You Pick on Me? A couple of really rubbish titles, I think. So it's either They Call Me Trinity or The Sheriff and the Satellite Kid. Sam, you have some viewing to do. Let us know by emailing the programme once you think. Once you've seen them.
So Sam will watch both of those and then tell us whether or not it was
correct.
It was one or neither.
That's the deal, and we're not providing him with access to or paying for DVDs of those films. Okay. It's the least he could do.
Have you been contractually obliged to say that?
Mayo at bbc.co.uk is a new one.
Okay,
right. Another Mark. Gents, been struggling recently until this segment came along to save me. It's a film. Okay. This film is about a very famous English author and his brother.
Yeah.
Made maybe in the mid-90s, set maybe in the mid-60s, potentially starring that guy from As Time Goes By. But I've looked this up and failed. I remember it as a classic cup of tea and a biscuit film for a Sunday afternoon, and I really want to watch it with my Australian partner. Any help will be most appreciated, as Google has failed me as I tried to tell my partner about the film while a little tipsy at dinner in Noosa in Australia, which is on the Sunshine Coast of Australia.
Right.
Love all you do. That's from Mark. So does that really...
Hang on, but is that all the details we've got?
I'm afraid that's it, yes. So probably from the 90s, set in the 60s.
Potentially starring that guy from As Time Goes By.
Cup of tea and a biscuit film.
A film about a very famous English author and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
I mean, it's not a lot to go
Once again,
Mark,
this remains my least favourite part of the show.
Everyone else loves it. The Hive Mind / Chairborne Squadron swooping interview.
That's a good gag.
Mayo at bbc.co.uk. Maybe we can sort this out before we go off air. The delights of live radio. Cherish it while it's here. 85058. WTF Part 2. Having maybe edged towards Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll await confirmation.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Okay.
I think there's a C.S. Lewis and his brother in it.
Okay.
So maybe it is. But again, it's a bit like Ask for the Ants. You know, the key thing was actually the fact that his wife died, which Mark, our contributor, seems to have forgotten. Anyway, Jim Orton, wishing you both a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much, Jim. We'll have to go a wassailing from next week. From around the age of 8 or 9, I remember watching a Christmas film that was on every year, which always was a delight when I discovered it during the annual ritual of going through the radio and TV times, marking all the Christmas films I wanted to watch. And of course, back in the day, you had to buy both publications.
You did. But otherwise, you only got some of the channels.
Crazy. This will have been around the early 1980s, okay? Now I have kids, I search every year to no avail and have no idea what it's called, so can't search through any of our streaming options either.
Right.
As I recall, it has a Canadian flavour, okay? Possibly Australian, slight difference.
Okay, yes, it's Canadian or Australian, one of the two.
It's a little bit round the twisty, but I assume Canadian due to the large amounts of snow always featuring in the film. As I recall, the story is about an alien that... there's slightly familiar this. An alien that crash lands and he makes friends with a brother and sister who eventually help him to repair his ship and ends with him leaving the Earth to the sadness of his small human friends. Almost a John Lewis Christmas ad when I describe it, with much less breathless singing involved.
Okay.
with overtones of E.T. Clearly, in the intervening...
Does he say with overtones of E.T.?
No, I've just added that
Okay,
in.
fine.
Due to the alien crash landing. And,
Yeah, but are we assuming that it's not E.T.?
I mean, that would be the worst ever
but
WTF of all time. Clearly, in the intervening 30-odd years since I watched it, there must be more choice for the television channels, meaning they no longer select it for their programming. It was rather low cost. Oh, okay.
Okay, in that case, it's not E.T. then.
With the alien being very Doc Brown levels of overacting, still not E.T., and the UFO internal set looking rather like a soft play zone, adorned with silver spray-painted household items everywhere. You could have just been watching Doctor Who, you never know.
Yep.
Desperately want to sit with my kids and watch it before they reach the age where they know more than me and find everything I say and do painfully embarrassing. They are 11, so only a couple more years to go. It is, I wouldn't think you've got a couple of years, to be honest, Jim. It's with trepidation that I place my trust in Mark and your listeners finding that film, knowing full well it's likely to be disappointingly bad once I watch it and totally ruin the fond memories I have.
In that case, it's definitely not E.T.
My youthful Christmas. No, it clearly
It's
isn't.
not E.T.
No, particularly with the Doc Brown levels of overacting and the cheap-looking UFO internal set. Anyway, okay, so if that rings any bells, mayo@bbc.co.uk.